Hi everyone, Debra Dickinson here, Bandit there. We are at the beautiful Elephant Butte Lake State Park, and that is what I'm going to talk to you about today is New Mexico State Park and their passes. Every year I hold an annual meetup called Cocoa Fest. This year will be my 8th Cocoa Fest, and it will be the 4th time I've held it at the City of Rock State Park in New Mexico. I will announce the dates later this month, so be sure and watch for that video about Cocoa Fest 2024. We all love City of Rocks, but the state of New Mexico is considering making major changes to the state park system, so this may be the last year I'm able to hold it there. I recently met with an official for the New Mexico State Parks and have some important updates to share with you. Before we get started, please be sure you are subscribed to my channel and make sure you click that bell and change it from personalized notifications to all. It really helps and I appreciate it. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all of my new subscribers who have hopped over to my channel from me being featured on Cheap RV Living. I'm glad you're here. And to my returning viewers, especially those of you who have been on this journey with me for a long time, thank you. I am blessed by my wonderful viewers and my Cocoa Fan patrons. I'm also blessed to have so many loyal readers. If you've read my books or listened to any of my audiobooks, please be sure to leave a review. That helps authors more than you know. So let's dive into the proposed changes to the New Mexico State Park system. Where those changes stand now, why it's important, and how you can make a difference. And I hope you heard me on that. You can make a difference. Hear me out and I'll tell you why it's important. You may be thinking, by the way, what is up with my hair? It's been windy and cold and I wanted you to have a view other than the inside of my rig, so this is what you get today. Anyway, you may be thinking, I don't plan on camping in New Mexico, so this doesn't affect me. Please think again, and here's why. All businesses follow best practices. If Dollar Tree successfully raises their prices and consumers pay the increased prices without loss of revenue for Dollar Tree, then you can bet eventually the rest of the dollar stores will follow suit. If a successful hamburger chain decreases the size of their hamburger patties and buns, even by the slightest increment to save them tons of money, and they do that successfully, then you're almost guaranteed that change will trickle throughout the industry. Our canned goods used to be larger than they are now. Sizes decreased and prices went up. That didn't happen for just one company. Eventually it happened across the board, and now it is our new norm. Just this morning, Frugal RV Gal and I had bacon for breakfast. I buy the thick sliced bacon, but that actually used to be the normal thickness. Normal now, without paying for the thick slab, is actually paper thin. The same is true for national parks, state parks, county, and city government practices. They watch each other. They pay attention. If someone paves the way and sets a precedence and it was successful for them, others will follow suit. It's part of the democracy we have in place in this country. Good or bad, it is what it is. So even if you're not planning on or think you may never camp in New Mexico State Parks, this can and most likely will eventually affect you. Let me tell you the changes they are considering, and then I'll tell you how you can make a difference. Here are some of the things they are considering. 1. Elimination of day use fees for New Mexico residents. That's nice, right? I mean, who wouldn't like to enter a state park for free? But where are they going to make up that revenue? You can bet it's going to come out of pocket somewhere. 2. Implementation of a non-resident day use fee. I hope we are all willing to support our public parks, national, state, county, and city. I'm former Texas Parks and Wildlife. One of the biggest complaints we consistently received was from campers having to pay for reservations in Texas, plus a day use fee for every day they were in the park. The day use fee is only waived in Texas if you have a state park pass, even if you're paying for camping. 3. Eliminating annual passes. I'm going to repeat that. New Mexico state parks are considering elimination of annual passes completely. They're not considering modifying the rules, regulations, and fees around the use of their state park pass, which currently, by the way, is an absolute phenomenal deal, the best in the country, in my opinion, for campers. They are proposing to eliminate it completely. Currently, the annual state park pass is $225 for non-residents and $180 for New Mexico residents. Frugal RV Gal and I have both done videos on our stays at New Mexico state parks. Please go and check those videos out. Their parks are wonderful, and at $225 with waived fees and discounts, it is currently an incredible bargain. We would definitely be willing to pay more to support them, but what would be the maximum price before it was no longer cost effective? That remains to be seen. 4. Adjusting camping and utility fees. We all know the cost of everything is going up, so that is no surprise. As former Texas Parks and Wildlife, I can tell you that our park systems don't make money, and they are always low on the totem pole for budget considerations. Along with many other infrastructures in our country, our park systems are, for the most part, ignored financially. That leaves the only recourse for the parks to implement fee increases and pass that cost on to the public. As unfortunate as it may be, I don't think there are any surprises there. Currently, it is my understanding that New Mexico is considering doubling the camping fees. 5. Adjusting boat registration and launching fees. Same. Something has to give. They need funding from somewhere, and state governments aren't typically providing it, so it gets passed down to the people. We pay for the increases either way, either through direct fees at the park or through taxes. Cost of living increases are always covered by us, the people. 6. Adjust entrance fees at Living Desert Zoo and Garden State Park and Smoky Bear Historical Park. Again, the same issues. It has to come from somewhere. When I recently met with one of the New Mexico State Park superintendents, he gave me and Frugal RV Gal very recent updates on these proposed changes. If you want to see the entire bill that I'm talking about, I will put the link below in the video description. These changes were set to go in effect this July 2024. We were told, because of the enormous amount of feedback the New Mexico State Park Division has received so far, that the changes have been put on hold for now. Yay! We have one last chance to make a difference here, folks. There are going to be changes made, just not effective July 1, and you have a chance to be heard now. Did you catch that? Your voice matters. Our voices have been heard, and they are now reconsidering the proposed changes. I'll tell you in a minute how your voice can be heard too. But first, let's talk about the postponement of the current proposed changes. 1. New Mexico residents have unilaterally said that they do not want their day use fee to be waived. They are more than willing to keep paying a day use fee for entry into the parks. And I'm not talking about camping here, just New Mexico residents coming into their beautiful park to use the facilities for the day. Overwhelmingly, they have made their voices heard, and they don't want that fee to be waived. I don't know about you, but as a former park staff member, that warms my heart deeply. Talk about appreciation and support. When I first heard of these changes, I was blown away because I'm of the mindset you don't throw the whole program out. You revamp it, but don't scuttle the whole thing. It was mind-boggling to me that New Mexico was willing to do that. I mentioned this to the New Mexico State Park superintendent we visited with, and he said that the problem is that the last 3 governors of New Mexico weren't willing to consider a rate increase of any kind. That's decades without any fee hikes. The way it works is that the New Mexico State Park Director proposes changes to the governor. The governor either denies or approves those changes. It does not go through legislation in New Mexico. That means that New Mexico State Park's current fees, which are set by rule, have not been updated in decades. New Mexico state parks have been denied any type of fee increase whatsoever, and that is unsustainable. Like I said, our park systems are always low on the totem pole for budget considerations. Finally, New Mexico now has a governor that understands the importance of its state parks and is willing to approve changes, and that's where you come in. New Mexico has been holding informational meetings across the state. They have encouraged people to review their recommendations and attend the meetings. Again, please keep in mind that your voice does matter. As I mentioned, they have already postponed the implementation of these changes, and they will not go into effect this July as planned. But they are going to happen, and at some point in some form. So now is the time for your voice to matter more than ever. If you are in New Mexico and think you can attend one of their public forums, the schedule is listed on their website, and I will put the link in the video description below. You can also mail your comments to the New Mexico State Parks Division, and I will put that address below as well. Better yet, you can email them. I encourage you to ask them to keep the annual state park pass, especially for non-residents, even if they have to increase prices. My voice to them reminded them that if they do away with the annual state park pass, that they not only will lose me as someone who pays their fees and camps in their parks, they will lose revenue in their state and local towns. For example, last year alone, I got a new water heater and new tires and wheels while camping in New Mexico State Parks. We visited and paid for local attractions, dined out, shopped for groceries and clothes, plus bought gasoline, propane, and other necessities. If they do away with the state park pass or make camping costs prohibitive, then locals lose revenue too. Now is the time for you to contact the New Mexico State Park Division and have your voice heard. Remember, I am providing their contact information in the video description below if you want to do that. As a side note, we were also told that whenever changes are initiated, whatever they may be, any existing state park passes will be grandfathered in until their expiration date. Sadly, we also discussed squatters. The three main types of problem squatters are: 1, people that sneak into state parks after hours and leave before day staff arrive. 2, there are also squatters that abuse the state park pass first come first serve initiative. They move and hide within the larger state parks, like Elephant Butte, until they are finally caught up with and confronted. Typically, they then just say that they just arrived. 3, there are also people staying in first come first served sites longer than the allotted time. This is all very costly to any park. The other issue is people not canceling when they can't make it. People also book multiple sites and don't cancel. Countless times, Frugal RV Gal and I have witnessed sites sitting empty because they were booked by someone that didn't cancel. Parks lose money through all of that, and people that could be there and enjoying the park and contributing financially are denied entrance. I won't even get into the mindset of squatters that end up trashing sites. 2 ways you can help with these issues is: 1, don't be any of those people that book and no-show without canceling. And 2, if you see park abuse, please report it. Okay, enough of that. Let's get back to the New Mexico State Park proposed changes to their fees structure and park rules. Now is the time for you to contact them. And please share this video so that others can weigh in too. Together, we can support the New Mexico State Parks as they make changes to their proposal for the governor to consider. Wherever you are, I hope that you are enjoying a wonderful spring and enjoying the great outdoors. I can't believe I get to camp in beautiful places like the New Mexico State Parks while I write books. My 10th one will be coming up soon. Stay tuned for that, as well as my announcement about this year's Cocoa Fest. That should be later this month. Hit that thumbs up button, please, and let me hear your thoughts on what I've shared today. I enjoy reading your comments. Thank you, everybody, for being on this journey with me. We'll see you down the road. Coco, NMW, ODAT. Keep on keeping on, no matter what, one day at a time. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all of my new subscribers without loss of if a success that change will trickle, it's part of the democracy we play. It's part of the 1. Elimination of day use fees for new next